You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. Today we have a very special guest with us again, joining us in the headquarters. Well, maybe not the headquarters of Drone U. I would call it a satellite studio here in Denver, Colorado. But we have a very good friend with us today because we're going to be talking about the numerous benefits of rapid orthomosaic construction. That might sound like a lot of words for all of you who aren't familiar with mapping, but we're talking about one of the most simplistic deliverables of drone mapping, which is orthomosaics. And for those of you who don't understand what an orthomosaic is, oftentimes you hear the term that it's a bunch of pictures stitched together. And I was not one of the people that used to cringe at that vernacular, but now I kind of am, because an orthomosaic is really a lot of photos, put together, but scaled to the earth to be a very accurate representation of what's on the ground in near real time. Well, with us today is Mr. Angad Singh, aka Fixed Wing Singh. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Paul, thanks. Great to be back. Thanks for coming up to Denver to speak with me.
Yeah, this is one of, as I was about to say, this is one of my favorite places to just simply hang out and get work done. I love the city of Denver. It's awesome.
Paul did not come up just to see me, but it's a great benefit.
It really is.
Because now Pix4D's North American headquarters, based out of here in Denver, Colorado now, so that's really exciting. We've been here for a couple months now, and I've been living here for a couple months now and really like it. Really love it, actually.
Well, I haven't been living up here, but I love it up here as well. And it seems like actually Colorado is such a great opportunity to talk about some of these, odd yet unique yet powerful use cases for rapid orthomosaic construction, because Colorado has so many different environments.
It does.
Just from even the city to, the foothills.
Precisely. But I think, yeah, you can map a lot of cool things to map, and I definitely think that this is a great place to be from a drone perspective. There's a lot of drone companies here in the Denver area, and there's a lot of companies moving in and putting, especially for the European drone companies, a lot of them are putting their U.S. offices here in Denver. So it's a really nice space. But should we talk about what we're here to talk about today?
Well, yes. In talking about these different environments, from even just the city to the foothills, one of these environments that I think would really benefit from rapid orthomosaic construction. Now, just quick context. With Pix4D Mapper, which we've talked about a lot, typically creating an orthomosaic is one of the last steps, and it takes a long time. But you also need internet, you need a fast computer.
You don't need the internet. You can process holistically on Pix4D Mapper desktop.
Yeah, but you got to activate the license to get the thing fired up.
Yeah, the one time you need the internet. I think we got to be really careful about letting people know that, because the majority of Pix4D solutions can be used on a
offline.
desktop and completely offline, which is why it's become the number one choice for federal, local, and state law enforcement.
For sure. But in order to make our processes more efficient and to help more people in the market as a whole, Pix4D React doesn't really require internet at all. It doesn't even require a powerful computer, and it also creates these orthomosaics on step 1 instead of step 3, drastically taking down the time
Software
overall.
doesn't even have 3 steps. It only has 1 step, and it has start processing to produce the orthomosaic.
True.
So yeah, that's what we're really here to talk about today is Pix4D React, which is a product that I actually demoed for the very first time to the general public here on Paul's show here at the Ask Drone U podcast, which was very exciting a couple months ago. And now that it's been about 4 months since the product's been released and we've seen people purchasing it, we've seen it utilized in the field, I think that we've just come back to talk about what some of the top 3 applications are in regards to this product, and where I have been seeing the client base that is public safety officials around North America as well as the world utilizing this to make really great decisions and increase efficiency in their day-to-day lives.
True. And so in taking the more efficient processes of Pix4D React and taking the environments that we're talking about from Denver to the foothills, one of these environments is Red Rocks. It's an event center. There are concerts there. Actually, Sarah and I's favorite concert of all time took place at Red Rocks. No joke, legit.
I've heard that from a lot of people. It's a really beautiful venue.
It is an experience in itself. I mean, it really is. If you haven't gone there, you've got to check it out. But why would someone like Red Rocks want orthomosaic construction or really fast drone mapping. Well, you can think of it like, how are we going to create, let's say, an emergency plan with all the vendors in place for public safety? Is Pix4D React going to help us get near real-time data to help them create those plans?
This is here. We're talking about this idea, which we call special event planning. And this has definitely been one of the most applicable applications of Pix4D React, as it's only been on the market for 4 months. And I think that this is something that within time, any police department or fire department or Office of Emergency Management that has a drone program, which I truly believe in the next 5 years will be every single one of them, you're going to have a copy of Pix4D React because it's a desktop-based tool that makes maps faster than you can fly. And here, when we're talking about special event planning or just, pre-planning for security for an event, whether that be a concert or a music festival or even something simple like a town fair, having a fast, up-to-date map of precisely what that scene looks like enables you to make measurements and see exactly how many vehicles can you park at different locations. What's the best way to equitably put command posts out so that you have folks strategically placed throughout that scene. And I think the biggest benefit of this is that you're planning off a map that was completely up to date, and you can see exactly where every porta potty is located, where every trash can's located, where every line, fence that's being utilized to do crowd control is located.
Mass evacuation
Precisely.
routes. Yeah.
The biggest benefit here, and this is what drones have always come in and said, hey, you can get what the now looks like. And with a software like Pix4D React, where you can fly a mission in a couple minutes and then process faster than it took to actually fly that mission on a normal computer that's department issued or that you own, you can go ahead and get a completely up-to-date map, and then you can export a PDF report and send that around.
So that let's pause really quick, because you just hit something that I think really needs to be illustrated very well. Mm-hmm. Not only does React just push out the map, but people are used to Pix4D just pushing out a data product and not really being able to customize that data product within the software itself. And what am I talking about? Well, annotations. I'm talking about simple line measurements, area measurements. So if, let's say, the police were to map this area before there's anyone there, they're not flying over people, whatever, they can get that before plan, they can annotate it and literally, have it in 20 or 30 minutes. But let's say the police force has a flight over people waiver.
Which would be awesome, and I think everybody should have one.
I agree as well. And let's say that they're able to fly over the event and get a real-time map because maybe there's an active shooter or maybe something is going on.
Yeah, we're planning for things that we don't want to happen, but we're planning that for them because if they do happen, we should be able to save the most amount of people as possible.
For sure, but we can also take those two different deliverables, let's say the first one before the event is taking place and second one during the event taking place, and literally overlay those in something as simple as Photoshop or even Preview.
Or Pix4D React soon to come.
Well,
even within the software itself.
Ooh, see, we just got a new hint here, so we're getting some layers. I love that.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of things coming from Pix4D, and we're really listening to the market. And I think Pix4D React, everything that I've heard from the market has been really positive. We've seen, government procurement cycles tend to be a little longer than private companies or the general consumer, but we are seeing so much positive response from agencies, and we're seeing, and I always ask, whenever we get a phone call or a reseller gets a phone call about Pix4D React, I ask them, hey, where did you hear about this product from? Or where? And they say, hey, we heard about it on Paul's show, which is great. I like to see that, we're seeing more people listening to Paul and getting good advice, and or try to keep Paul honest here too. And
that's going to be hard, but I think it's a good thing to do. You got to keep it humble, right?
No, we're getting a lot of positive response because we listened to what people wanted, and what they wanted was something that was fast and easy to use, simple to use, worked on the computers they already had, and allowed them to share that data product effectively. So here, when we're talking about special event planning, you have an up-to-date orthomosaic of exactly what that map looks like, and then the individual that's responsible for that event, for the security for that event, can go in and they can annotate and mark where their different teams are going to be located, how many vehicles are going to be parked at different exits and entrances, and precisely how much area is available for them to occupy with their staff or with their vehicles or whatever other equipment they may be using for the event. But then they can share that data and disseminate that very quickly. So for example, real world example of how this was utilized is they were doing an event in Northern California, and The individuals flew that property. The police department flew that property with Pix4D React. Then the individual went in and annotated, the officer annotated on the map, determined where team A was going to be, where team B was going to be, and just wrote that stuff out in Pix4D React itself, and then exported the PDF report. Once you have an exported PDF report that has highlighted, close-up pictures of exactly what those annotations look like, as well as an overall map, you can email that out, and now everybody can look at an up-to-date map of precisely what their scene looked like on their cell phone and just scroll through and browse, and now they know precisely what the scene looks like.
Yeah,
that's really powerful.
It is really powerful. And now to kind of just like switch track here really fast and look at this from more private equity, private sector, why would orthomosaic mapping be really valuable for events aside from public safety? And one of the stories that I have is something that I actually did for an event outside of Santa Fe. And what I did is I created the ortho. At the time, I did not have React. I really wish I would, because my profit margin would have been significantly higher.
Yes, React is also very, very well priced.
It's affordable. And you don't have to say anything more. It's very affordable.
It
and it makes sense.
It's designed so that every single police department can afford it. We're not trying to make a ton of money here. We're just trying to give tools out to people that'll really use them.
So, well, I think the average DSP will use them as well once they hear, what happened. So with this orthomosaic that we created over the event space, they took that 2-scale map and all they did was draw boxes around buildings and areas where they could have potential advertisers. And I mean, that was like a simple 2K job, just to literally create the ortho for them to say, here's where your vendors can go. And like, let's say you do, a lavender festival and you're going to have a bunch of sponsors there. How much easier would it be to run the event as an event coordinator if you had a 2-scale map, like literally with, a GSD this big instead of, what you're seeing with blurry buildings on Google Maps and a GSD of almost 30 centimeters. Yeah. For you event coordinators out there, you may not know what that means, but long and the short of it is that drones produce a much higher resolution map than what you're going to get from any satellites ever. So whether you're in public safety, whether you're in private equity, or whether you're in the private sector as a whole, Pix4D React actually has a lot of actionable benefits and jobs that can pay you right now. And I guarantee you a lot of people are not doing this because I have...
That's actually a really good side point, is that because of how affordable Pix4D React is, if you're simply just needing to deliver an up-to-date map, this may be the go-to solution if you just need an orthomosaic that's not being utilized for civil engineering or architecture applications.
Yeah, this isn't for accuracy purposes, but mostly visualization.
Yeah, precisely.
But if you think about, one really, this just came to mind, one really perfect market for Pix4D React and real estate is the Texas Central market, because there's all of these, we call them the $1 million ranches, where it's just like 1 acre or 2 acre or 10 acre ranches, but with $1 million house on it. People that pay ridiculous amounts of money to mow an acre of grass. These are the type of people that when they sell their home, or even they may want it for their kids and emergency planning, having an orthomosaic map of that property is not only going to help them sell the house, but also help them really understand the space that they have.
Precisely. I think every single person can benefit from having a map of something, but law enforcement and fire can benefit even more because it increases safety in their operation and it gives them the most up-to-date intelligence. And Pix4D React was a tool that was built specifically for them to do that job. And I think obviously everyone's going to benefit. I mean, you have a solution that's under $1,000 for a perpetual license that you own forever.
Or $39 a month.
Yeah, or $39.
Which
By the way,
is really cheap.
This is $39 a month was a decision that we made because there's a lot of times where law enforcement or fire officials, they will actually pay out of pocket for a tool that makes their job better.
And you're giving away some really serious strategizing on the whole P card thing.
That's fine because it's not. No, we're not talking about the department card. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about people's own money. I have had enough police officers come up to me and say, "Hey, we started.
Here you go.
Yeah, we started paying for this tool, or we bought something for ourselves in our own job because the department wouldn't get it for us, or because the procurement cycle was taking too long and we needed that tool now." So at Pix4D, we priced that at $39 so that you need that tool, you can get that tool.
So that they could take advantage of police officers' personal money.
I'm just kidding. I can't believe you just said that. That is absolutely a terrible thing to say.
That's because it's the exact opposite of what you're trying to do.
I think other companies that make their products super expensive and don't realize that this is the reality of public safety today,
But far be
are
it for us.
taking advantage of it. And I think that for us, I mean, quite frankly, the algorithms in Pix4D React are so powerful. They can map smoke. They can map water. They're the fastest photogrammetry algorithm commercially available.
Hold on. Slow down.
And it's at a really great price point.
Let's slow down here for a second. Okay.
Well, I was just trying to combat that crazy point you just made, Paul. I was like, no way.
No, you want to help people. I get it. You don't want to take police officers' personal money.
That's
and
why
I don't
do this job. Well, I mean, I'm not a sales guy. I'm a tech guy, and I just care about the
bringing it around, going back to Texas Central, going back to the whole, you're mapping water with React. Like, I'm scratching my head here, as many others are. But one of the second most powerful uses of drones and fast orthomosaic construction, utilizing something like Pix4D React, in my eyes, is disaster relief and disaster response, because the environment that you work or you have to work in is so limited. No communications, no internet, even limited power. So you really have to be crazy efficient. But with Pix4D React, we have the ability to create situational awareness in 30 minutes. We have the ability to create...
less than that. If it took 10 minutes to fly the mission, probably takes about 5 minutes to map it. Yeah.
True. But we also can take that time to do asset allocation planning. Where do we send EMS? Let's talk about Hurricane Harvey really quick, because you mentioned mapping water, and this is such a perfect example of the very difficult reality that we face as a country in these disaster scenarios. What do I mean? Well, I mean that yes, you have fire, yes, you have police responding, but you also have issues where some areas are so flooded out that you cannot get assets in and out. And someone like Josh Baker, our good friend, he was an asset. This is what I'm talking about, asset allocation planning. He could create orthomosaic maps just really hyper fast, super quick, because no other emergency personnel could get there. And why is that powerful? Well, because this tool, being as cheap as it is taking what we now know as our safety net of public safety and expanding that out to help those people. But I'm wondering, as I'm sitting here thinking about Hurricane Harvey, the environment that we work in, the different type of people that are going to use this product, how in the hell are you going to map water?
Well, Pix4D React does it. So you use Pix4D React. If you're going to say, how do you do it? You fly a drone with automated grid mission over a scene, and then you put the images in Pix4D React, and you press start processing. If you're asking how the actual software is mapping it, well, one of the advantages of Pix4D React is that the way that the algorithm is designed to work in order to increase the speed, it also allows it to have a slightly larger margin of error in regards to what it's actually mapping. So it can map many things that other softwares cannot. And that, quite frankly, is the secret sauce and built to Pix4D React. I mean, it's the commercially fastest available photogrammetry algorithm that's been produced. It maps smoke, it maps water, it's super cheap, and it works on computers that folks already have. And the biggest thing of all of this is all of these little, these points that I'm repeating that I want people to focus on is because those are the lessons that we learned from events like Hurricane Harvey, from the wildfires in Northern California, where drones were utilized at an early stage, but there were limitations because the maps could not get to the people that needed them as fast as they needed them, or in cases of flooding, etc., where there's a lot of water on the ground, we couldn't get the maps to make a map of everything really nicely to show people. And these are all stories that we took in. No, they're designed Pix4D React around. Exactly.
They're really important because going back to that Hurricane Harvey example and mapping water, I just, thinking about one of the potential uses of React, asset allocation planning. I don't know if you remember, but I remember seeing on CNN and Fox News and all of them, just how many houses where people took the spray paint they had in their garage and they painted SOS on the house. Well, how are you going to know whether you should use a boat to get to that person or use a car and then a boat? Where do you deploy the boat? All of that. And with these asset allocation plans, they come directly out of Pix4D React over the sneaker net, where you have a PDF in 5-10 minutes after your drone flight. And for me, this sounds like almost a no-brainer. Like this should almost be required.
I think this is an amazing application that you're talking about because, quite frankly, yes, you can go to an area and you know that there may be X amount of acres affected by that event. You can map that whole thing with a drone very quickly, produce that map very quickly, and then the incident commander can go in and they can see precisely what that scene looks like. They can see where the roofs are, where it may be written SOS. They can click on that roof and they can get the exact GPS coordinate of where that's located, and that's one of the tools. It's a big button on the left-hand side of the screen that says GPS. You click on GPS, you click on any point in there, and it gives you a little tag that you can print out and you can have in the PDF report. And then you can utilize that information to dispatch resources where they need to go. And I think that's tremendously powerful. I mean, another application of that tool is here, here you're looking at, okay, you're trying to find folks that are on roofs that have written SOS. Or let's say that post-event, you're looking at through the maps, trying to searching for areas where potentially there may be a building that looks like somebody could be under it, or there's additional information you get when you can look at a whole map, and then if there's anything of interest that you want to ground truth, or you want to have somebody actually go physically check on the ground what's happening there, you just click on the point, you get the coordinate, and you go. And I think that's really powerful.
I think it is really powerful. And in the so just so you know, a part of this show is we wanted to announce the fact that at Drone U, we are actually launching our search and rescue disaster relief class with drones March 11th in Dallas, Texas. You can find the link below. It is on our site, and we put it out on social media. Also, if you did see that search and rescue video that we just put out showing utilizing a lot of the same principles of photogrammetry to autonomously search images. So if you want to take those classes, Angad, we believe that affordability is important as well. So come join us for that day-long class. It's about 9.5 hours long, and it'll cost you a whopping $97. But that being said, yes. Yeah, $97.
That's not bad. That's pretty good, actually.
I wasn't expecting this reaction. I'm just being honest.
No, I think that's awesome because
it's about saving lives.
It's about, to be honest, that's why Pix4D React is priced the way it is. And it sounds like that's why your class is priced the way it is because,
bingo,
quite frankly, it's not appropriate to take advantage of the taxpayer or the department budgets, especially when you have a tool.
Shake my hand. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just not appropriate. And here you have tools that are, they're really powerful. And yes, obviously it's a private company. It needs to make a little bit of money in order to continue itself, as well as to put, more research and development into making tools better, faster, stronger. But with React, this tool I think is so beautiful that we had to price it the way we did so that I want everybody to have it. That's my vision.
Yeah, and I think everyone should have it because going back to disaster relief, going back to Harvey, we can do damage assessments. So we talked about asset allocation, pushing people out to go help people. Well, what about when it's all said and done and we need to actually calculate for FEMA how many tons of debris removal? So we can do literally debris removal planning right there from the same maps that we already had. We can compare and contrast to literally say, here's where the water line was yesterday at 4 and here's where it is today at 4 o'clock. But we can also do that victim identification that we talked about. So literally you can take the same freaking data product and use it for 8, 9, 10, 11 different things. And I don't know about you, Angad, but as of just getting on the GSA schedule for the government at Drone U, we're really excited for this particular class. Why? Well, because FEMA had one of the largest pretty much open government compliance contracts is literally damage assessment and reclamation. And with Pix4D React, I mean, literally, what damage assessment right now for FEMA looks like, you go take pictures, you walk around the site, and we guess maybe 3 tons. So 2 dump trucks need to come out here and remove stuff. Those days are over because now as a collective, and I think now I'm going to bid on this contract because I know who has it right now.
I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
The contract for FEMA for debris removal. And it's just calculating debris. That's it. And they get paid millions of dollars.
I know the Army Corps of Engineers uses Pix4D Mapper, which is our flagship, Pix4D's flagship solution to do volumetric assessment post-disaster. They've done it extensively in Northern California. They did it post-Harvey, etc. Now with Pix4D React, you only get 2D in Pix4D React, right? You can't do volumetric calculation, but you can measure the perimeter. You can measure precisely what the affected area is, and you can tag exactly how many houses in that neighborhood have had their roofs blown off or how many have tarps, etc. And I think all of these things put together, they just this is the tool, right? This is the tool.
And thank you for clarifying the volumetric measurements inside of
Yeah, I
React,
just wanna
because
be really honest with
what I
everybody,
really
yeah.
meant to say was you can take the same data set that you use for React and throw it in Mapper and then do all your volumes.
Oh, exactly. If
So-
we see.
I'm sorry to not clarify that.
No, that's
that's
good.
what I
I'm
meant.
glad we chatted about that. I've seen this exactly in. So, for example, Fort Collins Police Department. This is, when let's say that they have an incident. If it's a full fatal collision, car collision, they're going to use Pix4D Mapper because that's the high-level scientific tool that gives them really tight accuracy. But if they only need a map for demonstrative purposes, the individuals there, they use Pix4D React to actually just create a fast orthomosaic or create a fast map of precisely what that scene looks like.
Yeah.
And then they can use that as an archival piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Right? So when you only need things for demonstrative terms, you don't need to make centimeter level accuracy calculations, then Pix4D React is the tool over Pix4D Mapper. And that's an example that comes directly from the Fort Collins Police Department.
There are so many ways that you can save lives with this product, and that's why we're here today. And I just want to go back before we go forward. So we talked about damage assessment. We talked about these contracts. We talked about search and rescue. In this class that we're launching March 11th, which is disaster relief response and search and rescue, we are actually teaching Pix4D React for search and rescue. And that has so many people scratching their heads. In fact, we had kind of been looking at, we want to make strategic partnerships in the industry for the search and rescue class. And many of them didn't work out because of one reason or another. But it was all new information to every particular individual that we wanted to work with when we said, yeah, we're using React for SAR. And they were like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? And
Yeah,
I said, tell me another tool that you can add all the photos from all the drone pilots. Let's say you're trying to map a 20 square mile area, you deploy 10 pilots. Well, how do you know that you actually covered every single area in that map? Do you know how many times search and rescue missions went awry because they simply didn't search really, 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 really well, very, very close to the last known location? I'll tell you, it's like 5 out of 10 times. It's ridiculous. So with Pix4D React, what are we using it for SAR? Well, what if we throw all of our images from all of the drone pilots into this application? Everyone's thinking, well, that's going to take a really long time. No, it's not, because Pix4D React shows you on the first screen before it starts processing the EXIF information, aka where the photos were taken, and you can literally add in thousands, if not tens of thousands of photos into this at once.
This is true.
And just go into the first screen and you can see right away, did I comprehensively cover an area or not? This is the Drone U difference. Drone U is beyond flight school because we have relationships with people like Angad, and those are people who actually give a damn about what they're doing because they are saving lives. They're doing things because they care.
I'm not directly saving lives.
Yes, you are. That's
The law enforcement officials out there,
That's
and the fire
shiza.
departments are. I'm just trying to give them tools that can make their jobs better and easier. And I think that
So
this is-
indirectly, you're saving lives.
Sure. Okay, if you want to say it that way, okay, we can't argue over this. Waste of time.
Waste of time.
So here, this actually is a really powerful point. Coverage assessment. Did you cover the whole area?
Let me ask you a question. Did you know about this, or did you think about using this?
I thought about using it for this particular application.
Have you heard of anyone else?
Yes, we have actually.
Really?
Yes,
Good.
I have.
Good,
So
good, good.
there is there's one group out of Texas that does search and rescue quite often. They're utilizing it for this application as well. So to break it down really clearly, what are we talking about? You fly an area, you drop in all the images into Pix4D React, and the very first thing you see is a really, kind of a
High-level
base map.
image.
You have a base map, satellite-provided base map that doesn't have a ton of detail of what that site looks like, what that whole area looks like, and then you have little red dots for every single image. And here you can tell. Do you
Did
have
I
little
cover
red dots
the whole
for
area?
every single area?
Yep.
See, this is a tool that, quite frankly, you could even use Pix4D React just to do coverage assessment.
Bingo.
You don't even have to press start processing. Now,
Bingo.
obviously, you will when you put all the images in there,
Well-
and then it'll process really fast, and you'll have a good orthomosaic.
It's also great for situational awareness on SAR missions when they first deploy and they need to have that quick little, here's where we are, here's the area, let's look at it. This, in 30 minutes, you got the whole thing right there.
Precisely.
And if you know what you're doing in search and rescue and you're utilizing one of the 5 strategies for drones in search and rescue, then you know exactly what to do with that that map and how to move forward. Angad, I'm not sure that there has been a more structured, focused, and finite show that you and I have done together.
No, sometimes we talk too much.
And sometimes we interrupt each other.
Yes. This is true, we do.
But
I think this show really did have a purpose, and that purpose was to give 3 legitimate, overarching case study examples of how Pix4D React is really being used in the real world. We didn't even talk about pre-planning for SWAT deliveries, but we put that under special event planning, I suppose.
For public safety, that's right. Situational awareness.
Yeah, this is, I think, a tool that's right for the SWAT team as well, where they can fly an area before they deliver a warrant, before they have to get out there, and they know precisely what that scene looks like.
A barricaded suspect, situational awareness. That's what I wrote down in my notes.
Precisely.
Real-time reclamation.
And that's something that this tool is being used for in the real world. I think there's a lot of things you can do, because there's a lot of things you can do with a map, and the goal here is to make it really easy and simple for folks to make maps. Unlike Pix4D Mapper, where, you teach a class on it, Pix4D has our own class on it. We have so many, bits of information on the internet out there. There's plenty of folks out there that are teaching this software because of how prevalent it's become. But at the end of the day, Pix4D React is so much simpler, so much faster. You don't need any training to use it.
Any training?
I think in 15 to 20 minutes, if you just played around with it and you were a curious person, you would know every single button on how everything worked.
So then it's a great time to also announce our new Pix4D React class that is available to members starting March 15th. So
that's really cool. I didn't know about that. Super cool. Good for the members.
If you're a Drone U member, you actually are going to get that class for free. And if you are checking out if you're a member, you're going to get the SAR class for free. But it's going to be more kind of simplified, focused on the operator. So
you know what I love about this? I love that, Paul, you choose the tools and you care about the tools that actually work out there. Like me, I work at Pix4D because these tools are amazing and I really believe in them. And if they weren't, I wouldn't be here, but I am, because the company consistently just puts so much research and development into solving the market's needs and into solving the problems that people tell us. And I have a lot of respect for that, quite frankly. I really do.
I also have a lot of respect for a lot of the people in your company. It is so much fun. Man, there's so many cool people in your company, from Cressy to Holden to you to can't remember her name.
I wouldn't worry about it. What I'm saying here is, yes, it's a cool company.
It's a great team.
It's cool people. But
I'm not just saying that. You can feel the difference when you walk in the office.
It's because quite frankly, we care about what the tech's doing and where it's going and how to help people use it. And I think in the majority of folks' minds, that's the foremost point.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
Couldn't agree more.
So anyway, Pix4D React, great tool. Let me know if you need any information about it. You can send me an email directly. You can email us.sales@pix4d.com. Or hell, you can even email me directly, ungad.sing@pix4d.com.
I love it. Angad, because you're finally like, okay, they're going to email me anyway. Here it is.
Here's
Just
the
get
email.
Get it
Put
done.
it out there. I get so many emails a day, but I try to give everybody a phone call back.
Well, that's good.
That's one thing I do try to do.
That is good for you.
Especially law enforcement officials. If you guys give us a call, I make a point to give a call back.
No, I think it's great. And also, just to reiterate, everyone, if you're interested in learning more about disaster relief or search and rescue utilizing drones, you're not going to want to miss our March 11th class. That's right, March 11th in Dallas, Texas. You can join us. And if you're really interested in learning why Drone U pilots are often way better than the competition, then you're not going to want to miss the flight mastery class that's right after that, the next day.
I've actually taken that class, and that class did make me a better pilot. I used to fly a ton. Now I don't fly so much anymore, but that class was good.
Well, again, thank you. I was not expecting that. I appreciate the endorsement.
No, we don't really plan these endorsements, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's just it's
just
legitimate.
Happens.
It's legitimate stuff. That's it.
Well,
that's all there is to it.
I really appreciate it, Angad. And the NTSB flight mastery that we went to, that was probably one of the funnest
that was
ones.
A pleasure to teach at the NTSB training facility outside DC.
I think it might be happening again this year. Wink, wink.
I don't know.
Just saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Paul's got the right friends.
Well, it's because we all care, and I think that's what really differentiates us. And I think people are learning that in the industry, especially with remote ID. But we're not going down that rabbit hole today. Just to finish up, check out that class, March 11th, Dallas, Texas. It is on the Drone U website. It's going to be linked here below. Angad, thank you again for joining us today. Really appreciate the passion. Really appreciate everything.
So And I appreciate hearing from the listeners on the show. I really do. I get some really nice emails from people out there. So thank you so much. I'm just trying to get the information out there and, just trying to do my job honestly. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it for you, Paul. And I'll be traveling around the country all through 2020. So maybe I'll meet one of you soon.
Sounds good. Well, everyone, that's going to do it for us today. Make sure that you get to a drone conference. We will be at, we're going to 3 conferences, but we're branching out a little bit this year. We're doing some more industry focused conferences as well. But that is going to do it for us today. Thank you again for listening to the show. Please don't forget to share the show with someone. It may save someone's life. And if you like looking good to your friends, then you may want to share the show or leave a review to help the world as a whole, because at the end of the day, we are all human. We all have people that we love and care about, and we all want to see and enjoy time with those people. So if you're like me, then you got to share the show. You can hit subscribe. But thank you again for listening to another episode of Ask Drone U.